Have you ever felt trapped by endless worries, doubts, and noise in your mind? Imagine having a mind so clear, so calm, that nothing could disturb your peace. Buddhism holds powerful, ancient wisdom that has helped millions cut through the chaos and find true mental clarity. In this video, we're revealing 6 transformative Buddhist lessons that can change the way you think and feel forever. If you're ready to unlock a mind that's sharp, resilient, and deeply at peace, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. 1. The illusion of the ego. We all carry an image of ourselves, a self-portrait, painted over years by our experiences, beliefs, and societal expectations. But Buddhism teaches that this self we cling to is an illusion. The ego, the I we believe in, is a story constructed by our minds, pieced together by thoughts and emotions that constantly change. The irony: this identity we hold so close is precisely what traps us. Once we start to question the reality of the ego, a door opens. We see that we're more than our fears, more than our achievements, more than our failures. By letting go of this ego, we begin to experience life more freely, without the constant need to protect or validate ourselves. This shift in thinking is liberating. It's like taking off a heavy mask we didn't realize we were wearing, allowing us to see the world and ourselves with fresh eyes. 2. The power of awareness. Awareness is the cornerstone of a clear mind. Think of awareness as a gentle, non-judgmental observer, an ability to witness thoughts, emotions, and actions without immediately reacting. When we become aware, we step back from the chaos of life and begin to see things as they truly are, without distortion. Imagine a lake on a still day, reflecting everything above it perfectly. When we cultivate awareness, our minds become like that lake, clear and undisturbed. We start noticing our triggers, understanding our emotions, and recognizing patterns in our thinking. Awareness teaches us to be present, to observe without rushing to conclusions, and this presence is where true clarity begins. 3. Detachment from thoughts, non-attachment. Every day we experience a constant flow of thoughts. Some are small and pass quickly, like a soft breeze. Others feel overwhelming, like a storm cloud that won't go away. But in Buddhism, there's a powerful teaching. We don't have to hold on to every thought. In fact, we can choose to let go of thoughts that don't help us. This is called detachment or non-attachment. Imagine this. Each thought is like a leaf floating down a river. We don't have to pick up every leaf. Instead, we can simply watch them pass by. When we attach ourselves to thoughts, we give them power over us. For example, a simple thought like, "I'm not good enough," can turn into a heavy story that affects how we see ourselves. We may start believing that story, even if it isn't true. Other common thoughts might be, "I need this to be happy," or "I'll never be successful without that." These thoughts, repeated over time, create inner stress and make us feel trapped. But here's the key: thoughts are not facts. They are simply mental events, things that arise in the mind and then fade away. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring or pushing away our thoughts. Instead, it means observing them without getting swept up in them. It's like watching clouds in the sky. They come and go, each one different from the last, but they don't stay forever. They don't define the sky. They only pass through it. When we start practicing detachment, we create space in our minds. This space allows us to pause and think clearly, without our emotions hijacking us. We can respond to situations with calmness and wisdom instead of reacting automatically. With practice, detachment can become a natural part of our thinking. We don't have to fight every thought or hold on to every idea. Instead, we learn to let things flow. The benefits are profound. By letting go of attachment to thoughts, we free ourselves from constant worry and self-doubt. Our minds become lighter, our thinking clearer. In this space of detachment, we can finally see what truly matters and what doesn't. We are no longer slaves to every passing thought, and this freedom opens the door to a more peaceful and present life. So, whenever you feel overwhelmed by thoughts, take a deep breath, step back, and observe them like a river flowing by. Let them come and let them go. They are not you, and they don't control you. In this simple practice of detachment, you'll find a path to true mental clarity and inner peace. 4. Embracing impermanence. In life, we often find ourselves holding tightly to the people, things, and even ideas that we love or that make us feel secure. We like things to stay the way they are, especially when they make us happy or comfortable. But in Buddhism, there is a fundamental truth that everything is in a constant state of change. Nothing stays the same forever. This truth is called impermanence. While it may seem like a simple idea, truly embracing impermanence is one of the most powerful lessons on the path to clear thinking and inner peace. Imagine you're holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Life is a lot like that handful of sand. The more we try to control and hold on to things, the more we feel frustrated and anxious when they inevitably change. Buddhism teaches that all things, our possessions, our relationships, even our emotions, are like waves in the ocean. They rise, peak, and then fade away. We can appreciate and enjoy them, but we cannot stop them from changing. Understanding impermanence doesn't mean giving up on things or not caring. It means realizing that clinging too tightly leads to suffering, because ultimately, we cannot hold on to anything permanently. Life's natural rhythm is about letting things flow, accepting that both good and bad moments are temporary. When we fully accept this, we stop wasting energy resisting change and instead open ourselves to experiencing life as it truly is, in all its forms. Take a moment to consider this. How much of our daily stress and worry comes from trying to control things that are out of our hands? We worry about what people think of us. We stress over losing a job. We fear growing older, or we cling to our successes as if they define us forever. But when we live in constant fear of losing what we have or failing to achieve what we want, our minds become clouded. We can't think clearly because we're consumed by the need to make life fit into a fixed picture that doesn't actually exist. Embracing impermanence can be incredibly liberating. When we accept that everything is always changing, we start to see beauty in the present moment. We learn to appreciate what we have now, knowing it won't last forever, and to face challenges with resilience, understanding that they, too, will pass. This mindset allows us to let go of our fears about the future and regrets about the past, because we realize that neither is permanent. Imagine looking at a beautiful flower. You know it will wilt someday, but instead of feeling sad, you appreciate its beauty even more. You understand that its temporary nature is what makes it precious. In the same way, we can appreciate each experience, each person, each moment, because they are unique and fleeting. Embracing impermanence teaches us that life's beauty lies in its temporary nature. Another profound effect of embracing impermanence is that we become more compassionate and open-hearted. When we realize that everyone around us is also facing change, loss, and challenges, we start to connect with them on a deeper level. We feel a shared sense of humanity, which naturally brings out our empathy and kindness. We understand that people, like us, are going through ups and downs, and this awareness softens our judgments and strengthens our relationships. So, how do we actually practice embracing impermanence? It starts with small steps. When something doesn't go as planned, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this moment too is temporary. If you're enjoying a happy time, savor it fully, knowing it's a gift of the present. Meditation is also a powerful tool in accepting impermanence. In meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations as they arise and pass away, like clouds in the sky. This practice helps us see firsthand that nothing lasts forever, not even our thoughts. By embracing impermanence, we give ourselves the freedom to live without the burden of constant control. We open our minds and hearts to the flow of life, making us more resilient, more understanding, and ultimately more at peace. When we stop clinging to things as if they were permanent, we can finally see life clearly, with all its beauty and challenges, and move forward with a mind that is both calm and clear. Impermanence is not something to fear, it is something to cherish. It teaches us to value each moment, to live more fully, and to let go of what no longer serves us. In this acceptance, we find a profound clarity that allows us to live with grace, wisdom, and a deep sense of inner peace. 5. Cultivating compassion. At the heart of Buddhism lies a simple but profound truth. To live peacefully, we must live with compassion. But compassion in Buddhism is not just about being kind. It's about transforming the way we think, feel, and act towards others and ourselves. To cultivate true compassion is to see the world through a lens of empathy, understanding, and love. And this shift in perspective can lead to some of the clearest, most powerful thinking we'll ever experience. To understand compassion deeply, we need to start with its foundation, recognizing the shared human experience. Every person we meet, regardless of their appearance, background, or behavior, is going through their own joys, struggles, fears, and hopes. Imagine each person as carrying an invisible load that's sometimes heavy and hard to bear. We're all part of this shared journey of highs and lows, and when we begin to see this, our perspective changes. We stop seeing others as separate from ourselves and start viewing them as fellow travelers on the same path. However, true compassion begins within. Often, we're our own harshest critics. We judge ourselves relentlessly for our mistakes, shortcomings, or perceived failures. But Buddhism teaches that compassion isn't just about being kind to others. It's also about being kind to ourselves. Self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same care and understanding that we'd offer a dear friend. This doesn't mean making excuses or ignoring our responsibilities, but it does mean letting go of self-judgment and approaching ourselves with gentleness. The journey to cultivate compassion for others begins with self-compassion, because without it, our kindness can feel forced or superficial. When we can forgive our own mistakes, acknowledge our own pain, and celebrate our own growth, we become more capable of doing the same for others. It's from this place of understanding and empathy toward ourselves that genuine compassion for others arises. When we cultivate compassion, we also open ourselves up to a clearer, less judgmental way of thinking. Imagine walking down a crowded street. Normally, our minds might judge people we see. That person looks stressed. She's dressed well. He seems rude. But when we approach these strangers with compassion, these judgments fade. Instead, we think, they may be struggling too, or I hope they're finding happiness. Compassion shifts our minds away from quick judgments and negativity to a broader, more accepting view of others. In Buddhism, compassion is often symbolized by the image of a lotus flower, which grows beautifully out of muddy waters. The mud represents the challenges, conflicts, and difficulties we face in life, while the lotus represents the beauty of a compassionate heart that rises above these challenges. True compassion isn't about ignoring life's difficulties, but about transforming them. It's about finding beauty and meaning in our shared experiences, even when they are messy or painful. A practical way to build compassion is through a simple exercise called loving kindness meditation or metta meditation. In this practice, you start by sending thoughts of goodwill to yourself, such as, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease." Then you expand these wishes outward to someone you love, then to someone neutral, then to someone you may struggle with, and finally, to all beings. This meditation reminds us that we're all worthy of love and kindness, no matter our differences or past conflicts. Another powerful effect of compassion is that it reduces our anger and impatience. When we practice compassion, we begin to understand that other people's actions are often rooted in their own pain or struggles. Instead of reacting with frustration, we can respond with understanding. For example, if someone is rude to us, our instinct might be to react with anger. But with compassion, we might think, maybe they're having a hard day. This small shift in perspective doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it helps us respond more calmly, which ultimately benefits our own peace of mind. Compassion also allows us to think more clearly because it removes the fog of judgment, resentment, and separation. When we cultivate compassion, we're not weighed down by negative emotions or rigid opinions. We become more open to understanding different viewpoints, more willing to listen, and more capable of seeing the bigger picture. This clarity of thought, fueled by compassion, helps us make better decisions and respond to life's challenges with a calm and focused mind. But cultivating compassion is not always easy. There will be times when we're hurt, disappointed, or betrayed. During such moments, practicing compassion may feel difficult. Yet, it's in these challenging times that compassion is most transformative. By choosing compassion, even when it's hard, we grow stronger and develop a resilience that helps us navigate life with grace. We learn that compassion is a choice, not a feeling. It's a decision to look past our immediate judgments and see the humanity in others and ourselves. As we practice compassion consistently, it becomes a natural part of who we are. It affects every interaction we have, every thought we entertain, and every decision we make. Compassion isn't just a nice idea. It's a powerful tool that, once cultivated, can change our lives profoundly. It frees us from the confines of anger, resentment, and fear, opening us up to a life filled with warmth, connection, and understanding. In a world that often emphasizes competition and judgment, cultivating compassion allows us to walk a different path, a path that leads to true peace and clarity. Through compassion, we find that life is not about isolating ourselves or proving ourselves superior, but about connecting with others, supporting each other, and growing together. So, let's remember, compassion isn't a destination, but a lifelong practice. Each day, with every act of kindness, every thought of understanding, and every moment of forgiveness, we take another step on this journey. The more we cultivate compassion, the clearer our minds become, and the more beautiful and meaningful life becomes. 6. Meditation, the path to a clear mind. Meditation is often seen as the heart of Buddhism, but it's much more than just sitting in silence. Meditation is a powerful practice that transforms the way we relate to ourselves, our thoughts, and the world around us. It's the doorway to inner clarity and peace. Through meditation, we develop the ability to observe our minds with calm awareness, allowing us to step back from our thoughts rather than being swept away by them. It's the practice of seeing things as they truly are, free from the noise, assumptions, and judgments that often cloud our perception. In our busy lives, we're often on autopilot, going from one task to the next, with our minds jumping from thought to thought without rest. This constant mental activity is exhausting, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Meditation gives us a break from this cycle, helping us to cultivate stillness and focus. By practicing meditation regularly, we can train our minds to settle, to be less reactive, and to see clearly. We learn that we don't need to react to every thought or emotion that arises. Instead, we can simply observe them and let them pass, like leaves floating down a stream. At its core, meditation is about developing mindfulness. This means paying attention to the present moment with curiosity and without judgment. During meditation, we might focus on our breath, noticing how it flows in and out, or we might simply sit with whatever thoughts or sensations come up. At first, it's common to feel restless or distracted. The mind might wander, bringing up memories, worries, or to-do lists. But that's okay. The goal of meditation isn't to stop thinking. It's to learn how to observe our thoughts without being pulled in every direction by them. One of the most profound lessons of meditation is realizing that we are not our thoughts. Our thoughts come and go, just like clouds in the sky, but they don't define us. When we observe our thoughts in meditation, we see them as they are, temporary, ever-changing, and often unreliable. Meditation allows us to separate ourselves from our thoughts, helping us recognize that we have the power to choose which thoughts to engage with and which to let go. With time and practice, meditation strengthens our mental resilience. We become less reactive to stressful situations, more patient with ourselves and others, and better able to handle life's challenges. This resilience is like building a mental muscle. Just as we strengthen our physical bodies through exercise, we can strengthen our minds through meditation. Each time we sit in stillness, we're building our capacity to focus, to be present, and to find calm within. Meditation also enhances our emotional clarity. Instead of getting swept up in anger, anxiety, or sadness, we learn to observe these emotions with a sense of distance. This doesn't mean ignoring our feelings, but rather understanding them without letting them take control. For instance, when anger arises, we can observe it. I'm feeling anger. By acknowledging our emotions without judgment, we give them space to dissipate naturally instead of fueling them with further reactions. This clarity allows us to respond to life thoughtfully rather than impulsively. A common meditation practice in Buddhism is focusing on the breath. Our breath is always with us, and it anchors us to the present moment. By focusing on each inhale and exhale, we bring our awareness back to the here and now. Whenever our minds wander, we simply return our attention to the breath, gently and without frustration. This practice may seem simple, but it has a profound effect. It helps us to become more present, more connected, and more aware of our inner landscape. Beyond personal benefits, meditation cultivates a sense of compassion and interconnectedness. As we meditate, we become more attuned to our own struggles and challenges, which in turn makes us more empathetic towards others. We see that everyone, like us, experiences difficult emotions and desires peace. Meditation opens our hearts, helping us feel a natural compassion for others who are on the same journey. It's important to remember that meditation is a practice, not a quick fix. At first, it may feel uncomfortable or even frustrating as our minds resist stillness. But with consistency, meditation becomes easier and its effects deepen. Even a few minutes each day can make a difference. As we practice, we develop an inner calm that stays with us, even when life becomes chaotic. This calm becomes a steady foundation, helping us navigate life's challenges with a clear and balanced mind. In a world that constantly demands our attention, meditation offers a refuge, a place where we can reconnect with ourselves and rediscover what truly matters. It's a journey of self-discovery that guides us to a more peaceful and centered life. Through meditation, we not only clear our minds, but also open ourselves to wisdom, compassion, and inner strength. We begin to see the world and ourselves more clearly with a fresh perspective that can only be found by looking within. In Buddhism, meditation is considered a lifelong path, a journey of returning to our true nature over and over again. The beauty of meditation is that it's always available to us. No special equipment or environment is required, just a willingness to sit, to breathe, and to be. With each session, we peel away layers of mental clutter and draw closer to a mind that is calm, resilient, and wise. In the end, meditation is more than a practice. It's a way of living with clarity and presence. It's the path to a clear mind and an open heart, a journey that brings us back to ourselves and ultimately back to peace. These 6 lessons from Buddhism aren't just ideas. They're a roadmap to a peaceful, resilient mind. They teach us to question our assumptions, to embrace change, to let go of what doesn't serve us, and to think with compassion and clarity. The journey to clear thinking isn't a quick fix, but a lifelong practice. Each step brings us closer to a mind that is not only calm, but profoundly insightful. Start with one lesson, apply it daily, and watch as your mind transforms. This is the art of thinking clearly, a gift of wisdom that once embraced changes everything.